Good evening, and welcome to Beyond Focus TV. My name is Abigail Raymond, and I'm here to bring you a great show tonight. So please go make all the phone calls you need. So call the family, the friends, the relatives, boyfriends, girlfriends, everyone you know, and let them know that Beyond Focus TV is on right now. So I'm going to take a quick pause, so I'll get back to you, all right? And I have a special guest for you. Welcome back. I hope you made all your phone calls because I'm ready to introduce my special guest. Well, my special guest, her name is Anthonine Pierre. She works for the Brooklyn Movement Center. She's a lead organizer there. So let me introduce you to my guest. Say hi, Miss Anthonine Pierre.
Hi, how are you, Abby? Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm glad to have you here because I really have a lot of things I want to talk to you about. But I'm going to start off by asking you, introduce yourself to my audience. Let them know a little bit about you, like, what you do, where you're from, things like that.
Great. Well, my name is Anthonine, like you said. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, Kings County Hospital.
Aww.
And I'm from East Flatbush. My parents are both Haitian, so I definitely grew up with a strong sense of understanding community and the importance of community and how important it is for us to gather politically and make change in our society. That definitely came from my family. And I've been with the Brooklyn Movement Center now for a little bit over a year and a half.
Wow, that is truly excellent. So, for example, while working there, what have you learned about, the different types of communities in Brooklyn?
Well, the Brooklyn Movement Center, we work in Central Brooklyn, so that's Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights for anyone that's watching this from those neighborhoods, that lives in those neighborhoods.
Okay.
And what I've definitely learned, it's something that I've just deepened in understanding as something that I've known maybe all my life, is that Brooklyn is so diverse and every neighborhood is so different. And when you cross the street, you think you're crossing the street, and you're definitely crossing from one world to another. And as a community organizer, it's really important to really understand what is that community that you're organizing in. To be how can I be a part? How am I a part of this community? And what I think it's really easy sometimes for organizers to just say, I'm out here organizing the community, and sort of just look at neighborhoods as these. Like everyone is the same, but really trying to understand who are the different people that live in a neighborhood, what all the different interests are, and what people are actually looking for when they talk about change. There isn't just one easy definition of change. So really trying to understand how complex the neighborhoods are.
Oh, wow. Well, what kind of things have you organized in Crown Heights and East Flatbush neighborhoods? What kind of things have you organized already?
Right. So we are, as a very young organization, I came on last November as one of the first hired staff for the organization. And we've been doing what's called base building in terms of community organizing. So it's been a lot of talking to people, a lot of getting to know people, a lot of what I was saying in terms of just figuring out what the neighborhood looks like and who's in the neighborhood and what people are actually looking for. So we've done a lot of that work. We're always going to be doing that work. It's important for us to work in a neighborhood and with a community and not necessarily for a community. Mm-hmm. So we're right now entering our membership building phase. So in the phase where we were building out the base of the organization, we've been accessing people in terms of education work and in terms of food justice work, in terms of stop and frisk, in terms of gender-based street harassment. So there's a few different ways that a few different things we've been talking to people about, and I can tell you a little bit about our different work in each of those areas. But that's a general overview of the things that we've been working on for the past year and a half.
Okay. I mean, as working there, do you feel personally like you've made a change in certain people's lives? Because that's one of the things that I've noticed about when people work with the community is basically trying to change someone's life. I mean, one life at a time. Do you feel you've personally touched anyone?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's really great about the Brooklyn Movement Center is that we're really invested in the entire neighborhood, and we're really invested in not so much just, one person having a change in their lives, but really how can we set up the neighborhood to have generational change? How can we create a neighborhood that is going to nurture our children differently from the way that we grew up in the neighborhood? So what's been exciting about that and is on some level building the patience, knowing that this is, I'm with BMC and I love the work that we do, and knowing that I'm a year and a half in and this is a multi-year process and I'm going to be involved in this work for many, many years, and thinking about what it takes to do work for that long of a period of time and what does change look like. So it's not easy. It's not like, oh yeah, tomorrow, cops stop harassing Black boys on the street and everything is great. It's not about that. It's more about what's incremental change. And what's most exciting to me is what's the change that's happening. What's the how are we actually changing society? How is the way that I interact with you on the street or I interact with my neighbors? How is that actually being changed? How are we actually developing a different society from what we have? That's exciting, and I've seen little bits and pieces of that, but definitely not anything that, again, no one tomorrow is going to stop seeing stop and frisk as a problem, but seeing how we interact with police differently
may cause a change.
Right. It's definitely about building blocks, and I think that's something I think that deters people from getting involved in social change, because they're like, oh, well, it doesn't do anything, or I voted and it didn't do anything, and it's really about what's the long term.
I mean, while doing all these different interactions, I mean, are you educating the people about how to make the changes? Because you can't just make a change without educating and acknowledging what most of these people feel.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll give you an example. Our education has been the biggest work that we've done in the past year and a half. And a lot of that has been really just getting to know parents and talking to parents and figuring out what they care about in the district. And one of the things that parents really care about is getting resources, is getting trained, is figuring out, as a PTA leader, how can I be a better PTA leader? So, the way that we're addressing that is next month we're going to be having parent trainings in Community School District 16, which is a district that we organize in. It's mostly Bed-Stuy. And the idea is just what you're saying, right? Like we like to think about how are we connecting our members and how are we connecting our constituencies to resources that are going to help them improve their own lives, and less about how do we come in and tell you how to change your life, but how do we give you the access to that resource, unless you do what you want or need to do.
I agree. Hold on. Whew, this is getting very deep. So we're going to go to a break right now, another one. So now this is, again, make some phone calls because I need you guys to be watching. So we'll be right back. All right? Welcome back to Beyond Focus TV. We're going to still continue talking to my special guest, Anthonine Pierre from the Brooklyn Movement Center. So let's go back and talk to her before she gets upset. How you doing? All right, just to continue our conversation, because I really wanted to address the parenting thing that you were talking about. I think that's a real cool thing where you're going to teach not teach, but help parents and being more involved in their kids' lives as a PTA member, because a lot of people don't know that the PTA is, really helping the kids. They feel that it's just something to go and hang out, or it's something that's unimportant. But can you explain to the viewers how important that step in a child's life is?
Yeah, I mean, with the PTA, the PTA is, if anyone even if you're not a parent, everyone has heard of a PTA, and you know that they have meetings, and you know that they have bake sales, and you know that they're around. But the thing about PTAs is that a lot of people don't realize how much power a PTA can have, that a PTA can fundraise and get things for the schools. That in a lot of neighborhoods where schools have a lot more resources, sometimes a lot of those resources come from the PTA. So thinking about, not only fundraising, but also thinking about if you're a parent and you don't know what's going, it's a new school or it's a new neighborhood, or maybe, you're not very strong with the language, knowing that the PTA is a resource for you. If the principals are difficult to access, or you don't have a good relationship with your children's teacher, the PTA should be a good place for you to go to parents just like yourself and get resources, whether that's related to your child's school or even other things. There's a saying in community organizing that you meet people where they're at, right? So if you're a part of, if you're a PTA leader and you know that a lot of the parents in your school don't have full-time jobs, then you can go after the resources and let parents know, what job training resources are available in the neighborhood. Or, for example, if a lot of your parents are need food benefits, then you can also get resources about that. So PTA should be a resource for parents to improve their students' school experience, but it should also be a resource for them to just improve themselves, and that's how you start uplifting a whole neighborhood.
I truly agree. I think that's one of the biggest things. I don't have any kids. Do you have any kids?
No, not yet.
Yeah, same boat. Not yet. But I truly agree with you. I think PTA is very important, and I think it's something that parents should be more involved in, because it does concern your kids and the neighborhood also. But besides that, the Brooklyn Movement Center, do they also is that a place that you can go to get different resources, for example, food benefits, and would they teach you how to get these things, housing and all these different things, and job placement? Because that's one of the biggest things that's affecting our community right now. There's a lot of people without jobs. So is that a place where they can go and look for stuff if they need any of those things?
So as community organizers, we see our role in the neighborhood to really bring people together, and bring them together around social change, around policy change, really get resources to help people come together and figure out how to make change on different issues. So if, for example, we talk about, just bring up the PTA again, if, for example, there's a street in front of your kid's school that has a lot of high-speeding traffic and 3 kids have been hit by cars in the past year, we're hoping that BMC could be the kind of place where people could come together and have a meeting and talk about what it would take to make that street safer, and then go through the policy of trying to figure out how to actually carry that out. So that's not to say that we don't care about job placement. It's just to say that that's not our role. We have partners that do different kinds of work that we don't do. So we do want to connect people to those resources, but we see ourselves as conveners. We see ourselves as we're the ones that bring people together and help you figure out how to shake the man, how to change the system. That's what we're here for.
That's kind of cool. So basically you're the glue to that holds everything into a certain place. It's basically it's a hub. You just go there and you find out whatever information you need, and that is kind of cool. Basically the next question I would like to ask you, just to see, voting. A lot of people don't understand the voting system. I'm not sure if you've heard this before. People usually have a quote that, I'm not going to vote because it doesn't matter. But from my standpoint, I believe voting does matter. It does make a difference. You know, without a vote, you don't have a voice. Like, how does the Brooklyn Movement Center help or basically give the people in that neighborhood a different understanding about voting?
Yeah, I'm really happy that you asked that question, because this is 2013 is a big year in New York City in terms of elections.
Yes.
We've got in Brooklyn, we've got 2 citywide races, district attorney and borough president. We've got a bunch of city council seats. We've obviously got the big mayor's race. So recognizing that, the Brooklyn Movement Center, we actually co-sponsored a candidates like a meet and greet a few weeks ago, and that was the kickoff for an entire summer of voter engagement work that we're going to be doing. So we're Brooklyn Movement Center. We're mostly covered the 35th and 36th council districts.
Okay.
So we're co-sponsoring debates on in each of those districts, and we're also going to be publishing questionnaires filled out by the city council race candidates themselves, because it's really important for people to go beyond the rhetoric and really figure out, well, what is this person actually saying, and what does this actually mean for my life, and how do I demystify not only voting but government, right? Like, who knows what a city council person does?
Yes.
And you're not necessarily figuring out what a city council person does by someone giving a speech and saying, like, I'm here for affordable jobs.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to help people plug into the process and not feel powerless.
Okay.
Is really the idea.
That's a good thing. Hold on, just give me 1 sec. Let's take a break, and we'll definitely come back. Miss Anthonine Pierre is not going anywhere, so please come back. Welcome back to Beyond Focus TV. Before we continue our beautiful conversation that we're having with Miss Anthonine Pierre, I would like you guys to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or even drop us an email, because I like when you guys interact with me. It's a beautiful thing. So, let's turn back the cameras to Miss Anthonine Pierre so she can continue letting us know things. All right? Are you ready? Hi, how you feeling?
Hi, good to be back.
Yes. So, basically, I know you were talking about the districts, because see, certain people don't know the differences between 35 and 34, or 42, or 52. For those people who don't vote, so they don't really know their districts. So, What is District 34 and District 35? What areas fall in that place?
Yeah. So City Council District 35 is currently represented by Tish James, and it's Fort Greene, Clinton Hill, and parts of Crown Heights, Prospect Heights as well.
Oh, okay.
District 36 is currently represented by Alvan, and it's a lot of Bed-Stuy and North Crown Heights.
Okay. See, this is what I be trying to tell the viewers, that they have to know who their, who their district leader is. Because the thing is, what I've understood, that your district leader is actually who you speak to fix the problems in your neighborhood. They're like the closest link, and then they will take it to the next level and the next level and the next level for you. So, basically, how important is a district election is?
So for city council, it's really important because there are, I believe, 51 city council people that represent districts all throughout the 5 boroughs. And it's important because that's your vote in the city council. That person represents however many, 150,000 people that live in the area. And they act on behalf of everyone that lives in the district. So these people they want to hear from you. They want to listen to you, so that they can represent your interests. So if you're not voting, if you're not writing letters to your council person about things that you have issues with, if you're not just communicating with them and letting them know how you feel about the district, then they're acting without you. That's essentially it.
So basically, if you, like I said, no vote, no voice.
Right. And not just voting, but the things that go beyond voting. Being able to engage your elected officials beyond every 4 years when they're up for a vote. Or, if it's assembly or a district leader every 2 years.
See, that was just the next question I was about to ask you. Like, some people don't even know when the time is to vote for these people. Some people think it's just the presidential election, that's it. Or the mayor's election, like what's about to come up right now. For example, a person like me, if I wanted to go, would I be able to come to the Brooklyn Movement Center and, like, find out who my district council person is if I needed to? Or would somebody be there to show me and explain to me, when the elections are, how to vote, and things like that?
So as a part of our voter engagement work that we're doing this summer,
yes,
we're going to be publishing a voter guide on our website. So it's going to be available very shortly. And you'll be able to see not only, how you can figure out what district you live in, but you'll also be able to see, all the people who are running for office in District 36. You'll be able to see, who they are, what's their name, where they're getting a lot of their funding from, where they're spending money. So really getting to the nitty-gritty of things that we talk about a lot in the press for our mayor's race, but for a city council race, there just really isn't a lot of attention.
Okay. Is there any particular reason for that?
Well, I think it's that there are two things. I think that one is that there is a limited amount of there are a limited number of media outlets in New York City. So, that and the other piece is that that finite number of news outlets is really focusing on what they think people care about. So even just what you said, where people think like, oh, it's the mayor's race every 4 years, I got to vote for the mayor.
Yes.
When there's definitely a lot more excitement, it's easier to get people excited about stories about the mayor's race as opposed to a city council race. So there's a little bit of press, but it's just not as easy to find out information as if, you're looking for info on a candidate for mayor.
Well, basically, the next question I wanted to ask you, for example, is there any age limit in voting, or is there a cap for voting?
So pretty much if you are 18, or if you're going to be in a presidential year, if you're going to be 18 by the end of that year, you can register to vote.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And there's no, if you have a 102-year-old grandma, she can register to vote.
Okay. One of the other things is, like, basically you have to be a citizen to vote. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Other things that I really wanted to ask you is being able to help the community, right? And also having Haitian parents, and being raised as an American, does that have any influence on why you chose to work as, person for the community?
Yeah, I think it's a big part. I think that it's ingrained in our culture, this idea that politics is important, that our neighbors are important, that, moving forward is important. That's definitely something that's ingrained in me from my family, but also very much the Brooklyn Haitian community has always, been very, very enterprising. We're a lot of hustlers, and we do a lot of good work just here in Brooklyn. I grew up around that, so it's a very natural kind of work that I should do.
I agree. Being also, a Haitian child and being born in America, it just seems like both cultures do the same thing, nurture. It's like you want to nurture your neighborhood, you want it to grow and flourish and be something good. So basically, is there anything else that you would like to share with the viewers? Because, I mean, I've learned a lot. And I hope they're learning a lot. And right about now, I hope they're going to get their pen and paper, because you're about to ask you for some information. Like, how would they be able to contact you? Could they email you, Twitter, Facebook? Like, you know, are you available on any of those outlets?
Yeah, we're available on all of them. The great thing about the Brooklyn Movement Center is, you know, we're community organizers, but we're very much interested in using all forms of communication to really get the word out about the work that we do. So I can say that if you're interested in being a part of the Brooklyn Movement Center, there are a few things. You can go to our website, and that's brooklynmovementcenter.org. You can give us a call in our office, and that number is 718-771-7000. And you can also like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Brooklyn Movement Center, and we're also on Twitter, and that's twitter.com/BK Movement.
Oh, cool. You're just like on all the things.
We got to be. I mean, if everybody else is there, we got to go where the people are.
I agree. Now, you see, that's what I'm talking about. You guys got to be ready. Get your paper, pen, everything ready. Hopefully you had your friends watching this show. So I just want to tell you, thank you so much, Ms. Anthonine Pierre,
thank you
for coming. I very much appreciate you coming through and sharing your information with my audience and everyone. Oh man, I just want to say thank you for the lovely job that you've already done for our community and everything, because I am a Brooklyn girl too. So hopefully we can have you on the show again at some later date and time. But you know, thank you for coming.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Now, I just want to say, guys, make sure you tune in next week to watch Beyond Focus TV, and we'll be having a new guest for the show. So, my name is Abigail Raymond, and I am signing off. Bye.